host, Olivia Cohen, coming in live from the Dörfner Judaica Museum here at the Hebrew Home. And this is Good Morning Hebrew Home. Today is Monday, June 8th, and the time is 10:32 a.m. A little later, JoAnne DeVito, our Vice President of Human Resources, will be joining us. We have a great show planned for you today, so let's get into the news. Let's take a look at the weather in our neck of the woods. Today will be mostly sunny. Temperatures will reach 80 degrees. So it'll be pretty warm today, and hopefully we'll get some opportunities to go outside with Project Fresh Air. This day in history, June 8th, 1942, Bing Crosby recorded Adestes Fideles and Silent Night. Both are two, what is my hair doing here? Both are two, sorry, I'm getting cues from Allison, our camera person, that my hair is doing funky things. Wardrobe. Adestes Fideles and Silent Night. He also achieved a great deal of fame with his popular rendition of White Christmas in 1984. Oh, in White Christmas. 1984, Ghostbusters, the movie, which was an American supernatural comedy film directed and produced by Ivan Reitman, starring Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd, was released. And in honor of Pride Month, 1993, drag queen RuPaul releases his debut album, Supermodel of the World. David Finkelstein just left, but maybe he would know what I'm about to talk about. Famous birthday of today is Tim BernersLee. Born June 8th, 1955 in London, he was one of the founders of the World Wide Web, WWW. He started its infrastructure while he was at CERN, the European Particle Physics Laboratory, and created the first web client and server in 1990. The web's HTTP, which stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, HTML, which is Hypertext Markup Language, and URLs, Uniform Resource Locators, have spread from this. He has been a student of physics at Oxford and built a computer in his spare time. His initial use of the web was to create and access to the increasingly large amount of data that CERN held, and it was never intended for public release. He worked for a time in England before returning to CERN and continuing the distribution of information on a global network. In 1991, he created a web browser and the web's ability to communicate through news groups. Increasingly popular, the web had more and more servers available, and the need for public display of information was vital with the overly numerous queries that were made. And Marx Anderson built what became the most common types of browsers, such as Internet Explorer, I know that word, and in 2003, Berners-Lee was awarded a knighthood. Very cool. So that is something interesting that David Finkelstein can tell us a little bit more about. We have today, I'm going to switch gears and we're going to go over to our screen over here. So last Friday, I talked a little bit about the 7 modern wonders of the world. And this is a list of a few that were, for some reason, didn't make the list. So the new 7 wonders of the world was held by a Swiss company that made the decision of which places were going to make it. And so these are a few others that didn't make that list. So this first picture that we're looking at here is St. Basil's Cathedral in Moscow on the Red Square, and this is in front of the Kremlin in Russia. So it's a beautiful, all the beautiful colors. Our next picture, this is really cool. This was in the movie, I think Return of the Mummy 3 or something, and probably other movies, but it's the Qin Terracotta Warriors in China. And in 1974, workers digging a well in China were surprised to come upon one of the greatest archaeological discoveries in the world, a life-size clay soldier posed for battle. But it was even better than that because they found thousands of clay soldiers, each with unique facial expressions and positioned according to rank. Some had horses, some were behind chariots, and the statues were part of an elaborate mausoleum created to accompany the first emperor of China into the afterlife. So I thought that was pretty cool. Our next photo, this is beautiful, is the Iguazu Falls that are in Brazil and Argentina. They are on the border of Argentina, and they make up the largest waterfall system in the world. It is split into 275 distinct falls and large islands. Our next photo is Table Mountain in Cape Town, South Africa. This flat-top mountain is not only beautiful, but it has a rich biodiversity, and it is home to endangered types of vegetation. It was put on the new 7 Worlds of Nature list, so maybe we'll have to check out that list as well. Next photo is the Dead Sea in Jordan, Israel, and Palestine. Let us know if you've ever traveled to any of these places, and anyone ever go into the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea is a salt lake that borders Jordan, Israel, and the West Bank. It is the Earth's lowest elevation on land and the deepest hypersaline lake in the world. It is 9.6 times as salty as the ocean, making it one of the world's saltiest bodies of water. Plants and animals cannot flourish in the environment, which is why it's got its name. So that's pretty cool. Also very good for your skin, I've heard. Number 5. I'm going to say this in Spanish, everybody. Ciudad Perdida, which is the lost city in Colombia. That is a beautiful, my pages are out of order. A beautiful place, here we go. It is thought to have been founded some 650 years before Machu Picchu, which we saw last week. Most likely in 800 CE, and it's believed to be the heart of a network of villages. It was probably the region's political and manufacturing center. So we have 2 more. Next one, number 6, the Acropolis. I've been here when I went to Greece. It was beautiful and amazing. The Acropolis is an ancient citadel located high above the city of Athens. It has the remains of several ancient buildings. There's evidence that the hill was occupied as far back as the 4th millennium BC, and some of the most important present remains include the Parthenon and the Temple of Athena, which is really cool. Anyone here ever travel any of these places? I'm getting no, so we'll have to go. Next one, Cliffs of Moher in Ireland. So they are breathtaking sea cliffs that run about 14 kilometers in Ireland. At their southern end, they stand about 390 feet tall, and it's a very popular tourist attraction in Ireland. Draws typically about 1.5 million people. And I think that's the last one we have, yeah. So just a few more beautiful places in the world. I know so many of us are wanting to travel, so hopefully these pictures can just inspire you to take in some of the breathtaking scenes that the world has to offer. On Friday, I'll show some more, another couple that missed the list of our 7 wonders of the world, and we'll continue traveling together. So joining us today, we have JoAnne DeVito, our Vice President of Human Resources.
Good morning, everybody.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for asking me to join you. This is so exciting. It's great to see everybody this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. So I ask everybody this question, kind of just how we start off, but tell us a little bit about what your role is here at the home. I know it's so many hats, but what does it look like? Let's say pre-corona and everything that's happening, because I know now you're doing a whole bunch of other things.
Very much so. Well, I'm the Vice President of Human Resources, and my role here is to take care of our employees and making sure that we have the best and the brightest and most talented folks here to take care of everybody every day, and also to ensure that they have wonderful benefits and that they have training that's needed. And I've been here for over 22 years, and I just love this organization and the mission that we try to fulfill every single day.
Yeah. And you must be really knocking it out of the park with your job, because we just have the best staff here ever.
We do. I'm so proud of being part of the team and the people who we've brought on. And it really is warming to my heart as to the success stories. Because I see a lot of people who we hired in one position and they've become vice presidents, or they become other roles within the organization and have grown. And it's really exciting.
Yeah, that sounds so exciting to see the growth of somebody and to be a part of their journey and their process and kind of bringing them in and bringing them on board. That's great. So I know that you've also had previous roles before you were the actually no, let's go to what does your role currently look like now? Because I know that you were doing a bunch of other things that you're making sure that are being taken care of. So what are some of the things that you're doing now that we're currently in the time that we're in?
Human Resources has played a pivotal role in helping with managing this pandemic that we're all living through. And it is making sure that we have staff that are healthy to come to work. We're doing a big COVID testing center now, which we're required by New York State to provide, and I've had an integral part with other team members in the organization developing that, where we're testing people. We start early in the morning and we go till later in the evening, and that's been a really exciting and fulfilling role, because you're seeing something accomplished, and that we've been doing, and that's been very exciting. Yeah. It's just been, for all of our staff and all of our employees, it has been, a whirlwind since March.
Yeah.
But we have the best team, and it's great because no one says it's not my job. Everybody just steps up to the plate and makes it happen.
Yeah.
And that's really fun to do. Yeah. Because you get really great ideas by sharing and brainstorming together, and it's been very successful.
I think we've all been working in kind of outside of our normal roles a little bit, and it's given us, I think, a different appreciation. I feel like a lot of us have gotten closer to the residents, whether it's helping with meal times or helping downstairs in our testing center. It's kind of all brought us closer together.
It has.
Yeah.
It has. I truly believe that. And like you said, in some of our roles, we don't get to see the residents every day in an intimate way. But now going up to help with breakfast or taking them outside for fresh air visits, you really get to know people a little bit more, because we become their family and they become our family.
Right.
So it makes it very special.
Yeah, it definitely does. So now I'll get to this question, but I know that you wore many hats before you were here at the home. And what were some of the roles you had previously?
Well, before I came to the home 22 years ago, I was still in human resources, but I started my career being an elementary education teacher. I taught kindergarten and second grade. And when I left teaching, it was a challenge to figure out, what am I going to do next? And so what I decided was, what were all the skills that I used in the education field, and where would that fit best? And I got into human resources. So I worked for a very prominent ad agency in the city for many years. And then when they closed, I started to work at Montefiore Medical Center. And then from there I came here. So human resources has been in my career for a very long time, but I miss teaching. I do training through human resources, which is wonderful, but I do miss the kids in that respect. But,
and I've been in your trainings also, and you definitely you hold that space as a teacher and really get the information across and really connect with whoever's in the room that you're trying to convey that information to. And
I'm glad to hear that, because it's always hard. Sometimes you want to make sure you're connecting.
But it's so interesting to see how those past roles can really tie into what we're doing currently, and you can tell that from you.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So I know that you've brought some things today to share with us, with the residents, with all of you watching. So why don't you talk a little bit about where you came up with this idea and what we have here today?
Well, when I was growing up, I have two other sisters. And in our schools, when we used to have birthdays, it was a tradition to have a corsage. And we would always make corsages for each other. So if you were 7 years old, you would have maybe a corsage of a flower with pipe cleaners, but then you would tie maybe 7 pieces of bazooka bubble gum. And when you were 8 years old, you would have 8 chocolate kisses. And when you were Sweet 16, which is probably the last time we really kind of did it as a part of our life, we would do 16 sugar cubes because you were Sweet 16.
Oh.
So we've always kind of done paper flowers, and it's a lot of fun. It's not hard to do. And I'd like to show you just one today, and if we can get through the whole thing, I hope it doesn't take too long, and if it does, we have some end results here that folks can see.
Have them ready.
And we can do it.
This is great.
Primarily, what you would do is take tissue paper. And I took a couple of different colors here. I took red and white. And you would cut them into rectangular pieces. And then from here, you would bend it and fold it into an accordion shape. So you're going to go back and forth and just bend it back and forth to make it an accordion. Then you would take a pipe cleaner and we tie it around. And then just to have it have some definition when you're pulling the pieces of tissue paper together, I make them into little triangles on the sides. So it would look something like this before you begin to fold it up. From here, you're going to take each layer of the tissue paper and pull it up to form your petals. So as you go around, you take each layer, and sometimes they rip, but that's okay, because it gives it a little bit of uniqueness to it as you go through. And as you pull them up, they get a little snugger, and they start to form a flower. And you just continue to do this all the way through and all the way around. And you would continue to do this until you finish all of them and pulling them all up. And when you're done, you end up with some variations such as this. And you can use all different kinds of tissue paper, and you can make all different kinds of shapes. Some people like to round the edges and they become more of a ball kind of a flower, more like maybe a peony kind of a look, versus something that has variety of petals. But it's always been something we've enjoyed doing, and so we still do it today. I just recently made one for my cousin who just turned 60, and we actually made 6 O's at the bottom with the pipe cleaner, so she would have a 60 on the bottom of her corsage.
I love that. And you can layer different colors of tissue paper to mix it up together.
Different shapes. You can also use different kinds of pipe cleaner colors, and you should also add leaves. If you really have a lot of time, there's some things you can do with it. But it's always fun, especially if you have grandchildren. It may be something you want to make and then put candies to it and give it to them for their birthdays.
That's fabulous.
So it's something that I think everybody can do. It's not difficult. And we definitely have the materials here. So if residents would like to participate and make something like this, I know they can work with your department to get that set up.
Absolutely, yes. If anybody's interested, we have tissue paper here, we have pipe cleaners, we have everything you need to make what JoAnne was just showing us how to make today. And it's also really good if you're not, we had Maria on I think 2 weeks ago, and she was showing us how to water plants, and I don't have much of a green thumb, but it's a beautiful way to bring some color and some pretty paper flowers into your room as well.
You can spritz them with perfume, and they kind of last a little bit. Can't use too much perfume because then the color runs, so you don't want to get it wet, but a spritz.
A little
and it gives you a
spritz.
little scent in your room, and it's
some
cheering.
aromatherapy going on.
Yeah,
Wow,
exactly.
We're just getting all the senses here with it. The colors, the scent, the everything. That's fabulous. So before you leave, JoAnne, I ask everyone this question, but is there anything that you would like to say to our residents who are watching?
Well, I hope you enjoyed the program, and I just hope you would get to enjoy the beautiful outdoors. We're really encouraging everybody to do the Fresh Air Project, which is to get out onto our great lawn and enjoy the Palisades and the Hudson River. But I'll be around, so hope we get to visit soon.
Yeah. And JoAnne will be around continuing to wear her many hats here and coordinating all the things that she coordinates to make sure that things here are running smoothly, especially at this time, and making sure that the employees here are happy people. Thank you so much for joining us and
Thank
for
you.
bringing this wonderful demo to have on for today.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
We will see you around.
Great.
So we'll move into our positive news story for today. We get paper or let's do paper. So a 10-year-old girl in Danbury, Connecticut is sending art kits to children in homeless shelters and foster care homes to lift their spirits during the coronavirus lockdown. Through her charity, Chelsea Fair has sent more than 1,500 art kits, which include markers, crayons, paper, coloring books, and colored pencils to homeless shelters and foster care homes. These art kits give the children something uplifting to do when they're feeling down. Chelsea's parents helped her launch Chelsea's Charity on her birthday in August 2019 when she asked party guests to donate art supplies instead of getting her birthday gifts. Since she was 7, she'd been begging me and her dad to start a charity. Candace Fair, who is Chelsea's mom, told CNN. She was very persistent. Every couple of months she would ask, "Are we starting Chelsea's Charity yet?" When she was turning 10, she asked us again and we decided it was time to go for it. After her birthday, Chelsea used the donations to send out her first 40 art kits to a homeless shelter in New York. Before the pandemic, Chelsea traveled with her mom across the country to meet the kids in person and taught them some of her favorite drawing techniques. Now that Chelsea is unable to physically interact with the kids, she is mailing the art kits. Since March, when schools begin to close, Chelsea has sent over 1,500 kits to schools, shelters, and foster homes in 12 states across the U.S. James Storehouse, a nonprofit that serves children in foster care, is one of the organizations that received art kits from Chelsea. It gives the children and teens a fun, creative outlet to channel their energy because they can't be in the classroom right now, said Stacy DeWitt, the executive director of the James Storehouse. Chelsea's kits have been a blessing to many children in hard places and have brought them joy. I feel good knowing how happy they are when they get their art kits, Chelsea told CNN. I have definitely grown as a person because of this. Now my dream is to meet every kid in the entire world and give them art. Who knows? Maybe if we do that, then our kids do that, we'll have world peace. So there we go. Creativity leading to world peace, everyone. That's our show for today. Remember to tune in to channel 88 later today if you want to catch this episode again, or you can catch it on YouTube. We also have Ask the Rabbi at 11:15, Exercise with Deborah at 1:30, and Your Hit Parade with Larry at 3:30, all here on Channel 8. And don't forget, again, you can catch this episode on YouTube or on Channel 88 at 6:30. Join us tomorrow with host David Pomeranz. Once again, this has been Olivia Cohen with Good Morning Hebrew Home. We will see you tomorrow, same time, same place, same channel. Cohen out.